Spring carp fishing is often about fishing singles or very light baiting tactics to try and get the carp's interest when they're not necessarily looking for a feed. I want to challenge this and see if using loads of bait on one rod will catch me more fish over conventional spring tactics. One of the perks of having my own YouTube channel is that sometimes you get sent products to test and review. Lucky me, I was recently sent a new bait boat. The Rippton CatchX, which is a very exciting beast of a boat with 4 hoppers and up to 800 metres range, along with GPS and single hand operation. In the box you get instructions, the boat obviously, this thing which is to attach a deeper, aerials for both the boat and the controller, batteries which are lithium and last up to 2.5 hours solid, a charger for charging the batteries in the boat which is recommended, and one for charging the batteries outside of the boat. A handset charger, which is USB-C, so you could charge it on the bank if you take a power pack. And the handset itself. She's always trying to help. A nice feature is the fold down aerial for getting under branches of trees, etc. Simply unscrew the battery doors, insert and connect the batteries and plug in. There's a red light on the charger that indicates it's charging. The handset also lets you know when it's on charge. So this session I'll be heading to my club water to test heavy baiting in spring against normal spring tactics. And all the rigs etc. will be the same to make it a fair test. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Got lots of tips on all my videos really, quite a few rig tying videos and session videos, a bit like this one. So if you like that sort of thing, you know, give us a thumbs up guys, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Well, an empty car park. That's a rare thing these days. First thing you should always do when arriving at a lake is walk around. obviously checking for signs of fish so you can decide where to go. I plumbed the far margin to make sure it was clear, then got settled in. This is my first night back on the bannock this year. I'm going to enjoy the peace and quiet. So we're down the lake and I was literally just about to talk you through what I'm doing, show you my rigs and my bait and everything. And I'd already got the rods out first thing when I got here, and one has just ripped off and I've got a fish in the net, so I'm absolutely buzzing. I was just filming a little cheeky duck there in the margins, just having a little munch on some bait that I spilled, and the rod is wrapped round. I wish I got it on camera for you. Almost broke my pod, I think, and the rod was at test curve wrapped round, and this fish has beat me up for quite some time, but I finally got it in. It went through my other rod, so I've got two rods to sort out after I've shown you the fish, but I'm going to get the fish out now and then we're going to talk through the tactics and everything so you know kind of what I'm up to. And I've got a nice little tip for you with PVA bags, a little way to attach your PVA bags which stops tangles as well, so stay tuned for that, guys. So I'll get this fish out and show you, and then we're going to talk tactics. And there we go, just under 23 pound. Really nice slate grey, bit of a character with that big belly, but yeah, cool fish, perfect mouth on it, happy days. I've got that fish back now, and before I get my rods back out, as I said, that fish wiped out my other rod as well, so I've got two rods out of the water at the moment, so I thought I might as well show you my rigs and talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing. So as I said at the start, the idea of this session really is to compare and challenge spring baiting tactics. Most people think a single or a very light scattering of bait is the way forwards in spring, but I want to use my new bait boat to just put as much bait out on a spot as I can and see if that just gets the fish going. The fish in this lake are used to seeing very small patches of bait, very little bait, and I thought, why not just be completely blatant and put out loads of bait on one spot and see if it works and see if the fish respond to it. So basically I'm in an area that's sort of the middle of the lake, but it kind of narrows in a bit. It's quite wide at one end and then it kind of narrows in the middle, and then it sort of stays narrow to the other end of the lake. And I'm in a narrow bit where I think the fish patrol up and down the far margins quite a lot because they kind of have to go onto that margin from the wider end of the lake to get down to the shallow end of the lake and the sort of reedy end where they spend a lot of time. You're not allowed to fish that end at night because it's a bit dangerous and snaggy and stuff, and I am doing the night tonight, so I thought I might as well come near to that end where I think the fish will patrol past, and then if I can get a lot of bait out on that far margin, it will hopefully stop them in their tracks. So basically my middle rod is going out with the bait boat and about 3 kilos of boilies over the spot. I'm using a mixture of different boilies, just odds and ends that I have in the freezer just to use them up, and also a little bit of corn in there and a little bit of hemp oil as well, and all mixed in, and that's gone out on the spot. And then I'm just fishing a snowman over the top, and then my other 2 rods, one's just going to be on a little PVA bag with the Snowman hook bait again, a really good spring tactic. And the other one is going to be cast out over a little spread of boilies, perhaps say 20 boilies with a Snowman rig as well and a little PVA bag. So 3 different baiting tactics. I've got just a PVA bag, I've got really heavy baiting on the middle rod and then a spread of boilies on the other rod, and all 3 rods are in a line on the far margins, but they're about sort of 20 yards apart, so it's not the baited spot that's kind of getting me bites on the other rods, if you like. I've had to kind of spread them out so that the baited spot's not influencing the other rod. The actual rig that I'm using is just what I call the half Snowman rig. Hopefully you can see that there, guys. It's just very simple sort of blowback style rig with half an SS1 pop-up on top of one of the new Vitamino boilies, fish blowback style with a little liner, and then a PVA bag attached to each of those 3 rigs, so it's all the same. So I'll show you my little trick with the PVA bag now, how I can attach a stick or a PVA bag to the hook to prevent tangles, but without having to slide it down the rig, because I use putty on my rigs and it's a bit annoying having to keep taking the putty off all the time. So I've got a really nice way of attaching it to the rig, stops tangles, gets your bait around your hook, but you don't have to take your putty off and slide it down. So we're going to have a look at that next. Right guys, I just wanted to talk to you quickly about the PVA that I'm using on this session and for all my fishing now. It's Catchmore PVA. A friend of mine has set up this company, and he's very kindly said that you guys can have a discount for subscribing to my channel. So if you have a look below the video, there's a link to the website and there's a discount code. So if you order from the website and use that discount code, you get 10% off. So that's a real bonus for anyone who's kind of subscribed to my channel. They do mesh like this in a few different sizes. They've also got solid bags, PVA tape and string, I believe, and they also do really nice solid bag lead stems, which allow you to quick change your solid bags. You know, you can sort of tie up a load in advance on the quick change stems and then loop them onto your main line. So those are really good as well. So go check out Catchmore PVA. The link to the website is below, and also my discount code is below as well. So have a look in the description of the video, guys, and go get yourself some cheap PVA. So what we do, once you've got your 3-bait sort of bag stringer there, you hook it on by the end of that sort of fusey bit, and then you go around the hair to trap it in place, and then you just nick it back through the end of the PVA there. So what that does is stops the hair wrapping around the hook, and also, you know, using a little stringer like that, you get a little bit of bait around your rig. And also it stops tangles as well, because it's a bit heavier in flight, so it keeps it away from the lead. I am using my bait boat on this session, so it doesn't matter too much about that. But what I might sometimes do is a couple of these baits in here might be pop-ups, and that will hold the rig up off the bottom, especially if you're fishing silt or over weed or anything like that. You can put pop-ups in this stringer and it holds it up. And then if you use like a wafter type hook bait like this is, as these pop off and go up to the surface, this will slowly sink down because the hook bait is a little bit lighter, and those pop-ups come to the top and show you where your rig is, so you can fire some bait out over the top as well if you want to. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that little way to attach a bag. You can do this with any sort of stick mixes, pellets or whatever you want to put in your bag. You can attach it in this way rather than sliding it down, and it just stops tangles, but it's a lot easier and you don't have to take your putty off your rig every time.
It's a really nice day, living in the right space, breathing your grace, got me feeling some kind of way. Yeah, you're keeping me sane, got me in my right brain.
We're coming into the evening now. It's about 6:15, and with it being April, it gets dark around about 7:30, so not that long until it gets dark, and it's really cooling off now. It's been kind of warmish during the day, but now that the the sun's disappeared and everything. It's really quite chilly, so going to be putting some more layers on in a minute. But I just thought I'd update you before it gets dark, and nothing else has happened since that nice sort of £22 mirror that I had. I forgot to say, whilst I was talking about that mirror, in all the excitement, which tactic of the 3 that I'm using I actually caught it on, and it was actually on the little spread of boilies. So I've got that heavy baited spot out there with the snowman rig and the PVA bag. That hasn't produced, and the PVA bag on its own with the snowman rig, that hasn't produced. But the one that had the scatter of boilies around it was just 20 or so Vitamino around the rig with the little PVA bag. That was the one that actually produced. So, you know, it's not conclusive at the moment which tactic's better, but at least I know the fish are kind of in the mood for a bit of food, and they are feeding, and you know, there's a chance for another couple of fish hopefully on the rest of the session. I'm here until sort of lunchtime tomorrow, so really excited to have a night on the bank, guys. It's been a long time. That last lockdown we weren't allowed any night fishing, and it's been quite hard, you know, just doing days when it's been cold and everything. It's been quite tricky to sort of motivate yourself, but yeah, it's nice. We're in spring now and we're allowed to do nights again, so everything's all right in the world again. So yeah, we're just going to be watching the water really, looking out for signs of feeding fish. I always think you know, you build up a picture of lakes the longer you spend at them, and the more you watch the water, the sort of more you get to see where the fish are going to turn up, and one sighting can lead you to a load of captures. If you keep a bit of bait going in that area and keep fishing that area, you can really build something up. So that's a good tip, you know, always keep your eye on the water and write stuff down. You know, I've got a little notebook, keep a note of what's going on the lake and stuff. So yeah, there's just the odd bit of movement now. The fish are definitely sort of on the move, but as it's getting cold, it might sort of make them switch off overnight, and then we might get lucky in the morning when the sun comes up again. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see, guys. And it'll be interesting to see whether that baited spot produces any fish, because I think if the fish find that and they get feeding on it, we could have multiple fish. You know, that's the plan, isn't it? With a big baited spot, you know, you're trying to catch more than just one fish, and it's okay nicking a bite on a little scatter of bait, but if you can get them going on a big bed of bait, you can empty the lake, can't you? So that's the plan, but we'll have to see what happens. So yeah, gonna have some dinner in a minute, stick the kettle on, and enjoy being outside and spending the night on the bank again, which is something that I haven't done for quite some time. But for now, yeah, that's all I can tell you, and hopefully next time I speak to you, it'll be with another carp. Right, good morning, guys, and I'm surprised to say there's nothing to report from last night. The fish were really active, they were boshing around and in my area as well, but there's a good chance this time of year that they're up off the bottom. It's quite high pressure, it was 1,025, so there's a good chance the fish are up in the layers really. So maybe zigs might have been the right tactic to have been using, but obviously for this test I'm testing the heavy baiting against the normal sort of spring tactics, so zigs weren't really an option for this video. Sometimes the price you pay for making the videos, you know, your fishing suffers a little bit, but I think it's good to kind of test these different tactics, and you can kind of rule them out of your fishing, and also hopefully it's interesting for you guys as well. So yeah, I've just got up and just having a coffee really, and just watching the water and hoping that something's going to happen in the next few hours. I'm probably going to stay till about lunchtime or just after, so there is plenty of time. We're still in bite time. It's only sort of 6:30 in the morning, so you know, it's breakfast time for me. Hopefully it's breakfast time for the carp as well. Nothing more to report, unfortunately. and I am coming to the end of my session now. I need to start thinking about packing up, but I'm going to be leaving the rods out till the absolute last minute, so there is always chance of a fish while the rods are still in the water. And we are coming up to the time when I caught the fish yesterday, and if that is their sort of feeding window, then there's every chance of another fish. So, you know, we'll keep our fingers crossed till the very last minute, but I do need to start packing up now and thinking about heading home. Hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if there's any comments, you know, what's your thoughts on spring baiting tactics? What's your go-to? Do you like fishing singles? Do you like fishing bags or a little scatter of boilies? What's your sort of most successful tactic in the spring? I'd be interested to find out. This session's been fairly inconclusive, you know, I've only had that one fish, but it was on the little scatter of boilies, so maybe that would be the tactic that I'll go with for the rest of the spring. But also, every lake's different, and it depends on the stock of fish and how they react to bait. Some lakes prefer a lot of bait, and other lakes, you know, you need to go in with a slightly more softly approach. So it's all about adapting to the water that you're on. It'd be interesting to try this test again in the summer when the fish are really having it. Sometimes on this lake, just after spawning, they feed really well, and you can have multiple hits of fish. So it might be worth trying this sort of session again, where I bait up really heavily with a bait boat, you know, to get it all out there nice and stealthily. But I have enjoyed using my new bait boat on this session. I'll probably do a bit of a review of it at a later date in another video. But, you know, feel free to check it out. They've got a website and everything. It's the Rippton CatchX Bait Boat. I believe they also make drones and stuff as well, so that's quite cool. But yeah, go check them out, guys. It's not a paid video, this one, but they did send me the boat to try out, so I thought it was only fair that I showed it to you guys. So yeah, not much more I can say, to be honest with you, on this session. Unless we have a fish right at the end, then that's going to be the end of the video. But I really hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave any comments with your kind of spring tactics and how you prefer to fish in the spring.